Mark. I'm here with Pastor Jeremiah, and we want to share with you, what does it look like to share your story? And we all have a story. We actually have a big story, and we have lots of stories in our lives. And when we talk about sharing our story, we're talking about what has God done in your life? And there's, of course, how has God saved you? But then there's also the stories that happen really each and every day as our God is faithful in our lives. And there's the fact is, you have people in your life that don't know Jesus. Therefore, they don't have that peace and that hope that you have because you're following Jesus. And Jesus has told all of us as his followers to go and share our story. Go and share about him. But man, what does that look like? And how do we get started? Well, first of all, it doesn't have to be like this lifelong documentary that you're going to share with people. And it's definitely not a sermon. You don't have to have a microphone or be on stage to share your story. And it's not done from pride. It's done from a humble place of, man, I'm somebody that has been changed by Jesus, and I'd love for you to know how that came about or what happened. It's in natural moments of conversation. Imagine this. Let's say you go to a restaurant. You've never been there before, and it's one of the best places you've ever been to. Are you going to keep quiet about that place? No. You're going to tell your friends about that restaurant because you had such a great experience. It's the same way with Jesus. We're going to naturally want to tell other people about Jesus because of what he's done in our lives. And it's going to naturally come up in conversations as you hear someone talking about something that maybe you went through or you struggle with. And you can say, you know what? I was there too. Let me tell you what got me out. Let me tell you about Jesus who saved me from that. And man, it'll be an amazing experience for you to share what God has done in your life. Jeremiah, what?
I think when it comes to sharing your story and how do I tell others and how do I tell somebody, sometimes we can make it a way harder, way more difficult, way more scary, and we don't actually notice the times in conversations. When you're talking with a coworker and then they're telling you about maybe how their marriage is struggling. And in that moment, there's an easy way of God saying, hey, how did I help your marriage? Or maybe you as a student, you're going through a hard time at school, and maybe it's how God helped you in school. It's just letting somebody know, like, you didn't do it alone, but God was there with you, and he's part of your story now, and how he wants to use you in that story. And so there's how do we share our story? How do we share our faith? How do we share who we are? Well, remember who you were before. Yeah. Who were you before? And some of you maybe you're just a teenager watching this and you don't have a big before. And maybe that's for you. It's more of what's God doing in your life right now. But some of you have a huge before story. Yep. It's not glorifying your trash, but it's glorifying the God who saved you in it and from it. Yep. So remember who you were before and tell people who you are now. What's changed in you? Yeah. Mark, what else?
Yeah, and I think you brought up a good point of just looking at those. What has God done maybe in your life or through your life recently as you come across people? We're in a world full of hurting, lost, and broken people. Yeah. And you're going to see that come up in conversation. And people are they're looking for someone to listen to. And as you listen to people in the moment that they're in, you can say, man, I get that. I've been there. And let me tell you what I did with that stress. Let me tell you who I gave that difficulty to. Let me tell you what happened. And just from that, you naturally talk about Jesus as if he's your friend. Because he's your best friend, he's your savior. And I think what this does is it really enhances and solidifies our relationship, our adventure with Jesus, because the more we talk about him with people that we know, the more he really becomes that real person that he is and that person that he wants to be in our lives. And I would just challenge you with this is sometimes throughout your day or in the morning before you start your day, just ask God, can you bring someone to my life today that I could share you with? And he loves to answer those prayers. It's going to be someone at the coffee shop. It's going to be somebody at your school. It's going to be someone at the game. And it will blow your mind at how God will open up your eyes to that window of opportunity. And he's saying, now's your chance to tell them about me. It's so cool. And you know what? You don't have to be intimidated by it because you can't mess up because it's your story. And it's God in your life. So you don't have to be worried about, oh, am I going to say it right or use the right words? Just tell them about Jesus and tell them about your friend and just see what happens. It's great.
It's like when, Mark, you used the illustration of when you go to a restaurant and you want to tell everybody about it. Do you know the entire menu? You don't.
Yeah.
All you know is you loved it. And the thing is, you may not know all of this. But what you do know is Jesus has changed you. And when you share that, that impacts a life. That can change. You got to think, why tell my story? How? What does it look like? If it wasn't for a small group of people years ago sharing their story, Jesus' disciples, because that's what they did. They went and shared their story of how Jesus changed them. And that's how it spreads. One story being shared to another story, generation after generation, leaving a legacy and changing lives. And
That's what it's about.
You may wonder again, how do I do it? We've been talking about the YouVersion Bible app. If you just go into the search bar of the plans and say find plans, you can search share your faith. And I'm right now looking at it, and I'm looking at, I don't even know, there's 15, 20 different Bible plans that help me know, how do I share my faith? And so that might be something that maybe you're looking, going, is there more tools? This is a great tool for you.
Man. So there it is. We hope that's some helpful tips, because we want you to be involved in sharing your story. It's not just for pastors to share about Jesus. It's for everyone. And if you have any questions about that, feel free to ask. Find one of us. Find one of the leaders at our church, or send us an email at info@cityviewphx.com, and we'd love to help you in any way. You start sharing your story, and God is going to do some amazing things in your life. We can't wait to see who you bring alongside of you in this adventure with Jesus. Yeah. Can't wait to meet them as you bring them to church. We'll see you guys.